to the studio sessions. My name is Brooke, and we're in a different setting. I have moved. I have been moving for the past week. Feels like longer from when I started packing. But we have moved into our new house, and so I've been really busy doing that. So that's why kind of the settings have been different. I haven't had my normal setup. Hopefully I'll have my whole new setup soon. I'm working on a really cool space. But in the meantime, we're making it work. And so I still wanted to come on and be able to record the podcast and talk to you guys. I really enjoyed talking about my own personal experience with making like a butterfly. And I'll link that episode if you haven't seen it. But I really wanted to share some of my favorite film directors and kind of who I love watching their work, who I find really inspiring, who I find really enjoyable to either listen to talk or watch an interview with or watch a behind the scenes of them working. And so I thought that would be really fun to share. These are not going to be in any particular order. I don't have like a hierarchy or a ranking of them. It's more these are just my like top ones that I really love and that I find their work particularly inspiring and like really cool. And it'll probably be a little bit of a mixed bag as far as genre goes. I myself do have an eclectic taste when it comes to movies. I'm the same way with music. I listen to so many different genres of music. And I'm the same way with movies. Like, I have my favorites, but I definitely have an eclectic taste when it comes to movies. And so you'll find that in the directors that I talk about as well. Very eclectic genres, very kind of all over the place, because that's just my taste. I like a lot of different types. So yeah, the first director I wanted to talk about is Alfred Hitchcock. He is a director from the 1940s, 50s. And his movies are all from then. Like, that was his time. And so they're older movies, right? It's old Hollywood for sure. But the thing that I have found really inspiring, not only is his storytelling like incredible, like his movies themselves are amazing. When you look at Psycho is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so good in so many ways. The storytelling, the cinematography, like the images that are created, the way that Alfred Hitchcock can craft a story and just really knew how to draw people in and like really catch them. And it is inspiring, and it is so not just iconic and like classic, but really impressive. Like, just such good work. And I have heard him, some quotes from him, some recordings of how he thought about movie making, how he thought about filmmaking and how he approached it, and different quotes from him about the craft itself. And he really understood his audience. Like, he knew who he was making his film for, whatever film he was working on. And he never lost sight of that. And I feel like that's really, really important. And like something that I really want to do and like focus on is how well he knew his audience. So well. So I feel like Alfred Hitchcock really has to be in there. He's just so good. The next director I want to talk about is Tim Burton. Tim Burton is amazing because he is so unique. Like, when you see a Tim Burton film, you know it's a Tim Burton film. There's not a question of whose film it is, right? Like, you just know a Tim Burton film when you see it. It's written all over the film that it's his. He really knows how to have his unique mark on things, his unique voice to things, and it's just so good. I mean, also has given us so many classics. Edward Scissorhands, they're just unique and iconic, and really his flavor he adds to his films definitely isn't really rivaled by like anyone else. Like, no one else can really do what he does at all. Not even close. It's amazing. So I just love how unique and personal his films are. Like, all of them have his touch and his voice to it. And it's incredible, just that whole concept of like knowing just by looking at it, it's a Tim Burton movie, right? Like, that's incredible. So not only do I love his movies, I love his storytelling, but I love how he puts his mark on things and like makes it really his own. Pair that with pairing him and Johnny Depp up in a good movie. Oh my gosh, I'm set. I absolutely love it. So that's why Edward Scissorhands is one of my favorites. I love that so much. So I have two more directors I want to talk about. The next one I want to talk about is Steven Spielberg. Yes, the major director, Steven Spielberg, who's done so many movies. I don't even know how to concisely like think of his body of work. I mean, you could look at Jaws, which I know I talked about, actually, I think in the very first episode, no, the second episode of the studio sessions. I talked about seeing Jaws for the anniversary in movie theaters, which is really incredible. And there was like a little bit of an intro piece from Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg made adventure and epic movies his own. Like, he is incredible when it comes to storylines that are big, like big adventures. I mean, Jurassic Park, Jaws, so many movies that you probably didn't even know was him, but like everybody knows and has seen, and they're all classics. He also is so influential just throughout the industry and so supportive of other filmmakers, whether it's other directors, whether it's recommending people to other directors. Like, if I'm remembering correctly, Steven Spielberg is the reason John Williams did the soundtrack to Star Wars. Like, if I'm remembering the John Williams documentary correctly, Steven Spielberg's the one that called George Lucas and said, hey, you should get John Williams to write it. And he's the reason we have the Star Wars soundtrack we do. Because he had been having John Williams do all of his soundtracks and knew how good the guy was. Just incredible. He is such a filmmaker's filmmaker. Really, truly. Like, he's so supportive of other filmmakers. I mean, he's been the director of an incredible list of movies, but also has produced behind the scenes, not been behind the camera, produced and helped make so many other films beyond that. It's incredible. He is just such an infrastructure, I feel like, within the industry. So good. So I feel like from what I've seen of him, not only does he love stories, right? Like he's a major story person, but also just the craft of filmmaking itself. He is so into. In interviews I've seen with him, it's been really cool to hear him talk about like ways on different films they've had to get creative with different things and try different things and think outside the box. And that's really cool because in filmmaking, you have to be adaptive, right? Like you have to go with the flow and adapt to how things go. You can't be stuck in your plan for a lot of reasons. So I just thought that was really cool to hear him share different stories of situations he's been in where he's had to do that. And working within a tight time frame. Like listening to him talk about making Jaws, that movie making experience sounds so stressful. And he makes jokes endlessly about a non-cooperative shark because the animatronic shark that they named Bruce kept breaking and glitching and not working. So it's just things like that. He's a filmmaker's filmmaker and he knows the craft of it so well and is so passionate about it. And you can tell, like you can tell the difference between somebody that's passionate about it or it's just their job or something they're good at versus having passion for it. So that is really cool. One really cool thing with Steven Spielberg. And the last director I want to talk about is James Cameron. A lot of people call him Jim, but that sounds so informal to me. But they know him. I obviously don't. So James Cameron also done a lot of iconic films, right? Like huge, massive films. Titanic, the Avatar movies. He has really taken on a lot of incredible imagery. Like when you look at the effects and the storytelling and accuracy needed for Titanic. Like he was so, in interviews talking about making Titanic, he was so dedicated to having as accurate as possible all of the details that he could and like making sure it lined up with what happened or what they think happened or what was possible. And it's just so cool, the imagery he has created. There's Titanic, but there's also all of the Avatar stuff, like the amazing effects in Avatar. Those movies are heavy special effects. And I feel like he does that so well. And he's not afraid to take his time with it to make it right. Like in a lot of the interviews I've heard him talk about, he's not somebody that rushes it. Like he doesn't just knock out movies just to have them knocked out and done. Like he really does it. It takes his time to do it right and cares about the details of it and pays attention to that. And he is incredible when it comes to that stuff. When I think of James Cameron, I do think of all of the effects he's taken on in movies because he's taken on massive special effects feats and come out doing very well with them. And it's just so impressive to look at. So I feel like really he is very inspiring when it comes to the scale of what's possible and imagery being just so important. And I find that really cool. So those are some of my favorite directors and things that I've learned from watching them, watching their movies, hearing them talk about making their movies. I would love to hear yours in the comments below. If you have a favorite director, a favorite film by any of the directors I talked about, love to hear that. Let me know. And I have a recommend for this week for something to watch, and that is Murdoch: Death in the Family on Hulu. It's about the Murdoch family, the scandals, the murders. It's a crazy story. It's a crazy case. It's a crazy story. And the journalist that actually followed everything with the Murdochs from the very beginning was one of the original reporters on the Murdoch case and the whole family. She helped produce this for Hulu. So it's even more tied in the truth of all the stories. And it's just incredible. So it's been really good. I would recommend it. It's on Hulu. It's called Murdoch: Death in the Family. Check it out. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye. This podcast is a Butterfly Entertainment production. You can keep up with all of our podcasts, YouTube videos, films, and other projects on our Instagram page. We are at Butterfly Entertainment Group. Thanks for listening.